This is a disturbing story to talk about. The details just tough to mention. A man is in a psych ward tonight after police say he sexually assaulted a pit bull.
Yeah, the woman who owns the dog was home when that horrific scene was unfolding in her yard. She confronted the guy, even held him at gunpoint until police got there. News 8's Bob Wilson has an exclusive interview tonight with the dog's owner. He's live in Hartford with more on what she had to say about this whole ordeal. Bob?
Alice Woodruff is a brave woman tonight. She told us her story. She had a gun in one hand and compassion in her heart. She's a mental health worker, and she says the scene that unfolded in front of her, literally her own backyard right off the porch, was disturbing, and she's speaking out tonight in hopes of changing the system.
I thought my dog had killed somebody because I saw a man underneath her. I started to scream. I had a citronella candle. I threw it at him, screaming at him, "Get off my dog, like, you got to get out of here." And he said no. He said, "Today's the day that we're going to spend the rest of our lives together."
Alice Woodruff lives in Waterbury. She says on Tuesday at 10 in the morning, she found a man attacking her dog Layla, described as an aggressive rescue pit bull who they keep on an 800-pound tow chain in the backyard.
Pranced through the yard naked, just yelling that, you know, this is our day, you have to prosper in it, and, you know, ISIS sent me, and I'm like thinking to myself, oh, did something like this just land in my backyard? I ran in, I got my gun out of the bedroom, and then realized, as usual, my ammunition is in my car, locked in my glove compartment. I showed him that I put the ammunition in, but I always kept the gun at my side trying to talk to him. And he just kept saying that this was the plan, that, you know, we were going to die today, it was going to be a massacre. He didn't seem to care that I had the gun, you know, and like I said, I kept it down. Gave him a warning, and then I shot the gun. I shot the gun to the right into the dirt.
After you shoot the gun, he does take off.
No.
No, even
No.
after you shoot it.
He put his arms out like this and started coming forward and telling me to kill him. But to know that as soon as I killed him, that we were going to die. Honestly, the whole time I thought there was a bomb or a gun and he was going to take it out waiting, you know, to just do this massacre.
Woodruff works in the mental health field and says, standing next to the pile of clothes, the naked man in front of her, she felt danger, but she also felt compassion.
I knew he needed help, that there was something mentally going on, and I've been in the field for so long. There's no help for these people.
After all this, you're still concerned for his safety?
I don't want him to do it to anybody else either. Somebody else would have killed him, and he was only 22 when I found out. So, yeah.
Traumatic experience for her. Now, police say that this man was arrested, or actually has not been arrested, but he's taken and locked up in a facility, in a mental illness facility for tonight, and he will be looked at. If he is released, police say he'll immediately be arrested on charges of sexual assault and cruelty to an animal, as well as breach of peace. Now, a lot of these disturbings are extremely disturbing details we didn't want to put in the story. We actually put them on our website at WTNH.com. You can go there. You can actually watch her entire interview. It's about 13 minutes. She tells you all the details. We want to warn you ahead of time. It is graphic before you go to WTNH.com. I'm Bob Wilson, reporting live in Hartford.
That I didn't know what was going on yet. It wasn't until the cop came, and he came up the front steps like you did, around the house. And when he saw the cop, he started to run and went through all of those bushes, barefoot, naked. I mean, he ran like a gazelle. The cop was in pursuit, but there was no catching him. And all his clothes, everything was still here.
Now, I gotta say, as a gun owner, there probably aren't too many people who would have not shot him, because he still doesn't leave when you shoot. But you work in the mental health business. Tell me, why didn't you shoot him?
I saw something else. I saw something else. I saw, at first I couldn't even get an age around him in my head because I couldn't see him well enough, you know, for a long enough period of time, but I knew he needed help, that there was something mentally going on, and I've been in the field for so long. There's no help for these people.
A mental health professional?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just feel like God dropped this in my lap because we need help for our individuals with mental illness. There's nowhere. If you're not under DDS, you're nothing. If you don't have an acquired brain injury, you have nowhere to go. And for families to try to control this, or help, or make somebody take medication, or do the supervision, the state's got to kick in, or the government's got to kick in. We got to do something for these people. For me to kill him, there was something in his eyes.
You said that just not today. He needs help. He needs help, and this is not. Describe your dog for me. What's your dog's name?
Layla. She's a red nose. She's had her for 12 13 years. My son's dog, Joe. He's had her since he was 15. She's just a fat, roly-poly dog, you know. She just kind of eats and sleeps, but she's been so aggressive through her whole life that people know when they're coming to my house, where's Layla? Where's the... But she was so lethargic. There was no Layla in there. I couldn't understand what was going on.
So afterwards, when he goes and you go to describe Layla.
She's laying on the blanket and her face was buried. She just was trying to sniff and get in as far as she can, and then she just lay down. And then she'd get up a little bit, but she wouldn't stand up. She is fat, but she stands up. She runs, you know.
Do you think he drugged her? Is that they're looking at that? Right?
I believe it's a possibility because I know my dog. The reason I don't think it's a possibility is because I know mental illness. It's not usually calculated. It's usually something that happens. You know, so I'm kind of unsure about that.
Anyway, you take Layla to the vet. How's Layla?
She's good. She's okay. She's had blood work done and some antibiotics because it's just not kosher for a human to do that inside of an animal. She's just laying in her pillows, just basking in her days, that's all.
But she's normally, I mean, she's a rescue. Describe me, she's a rescue.
Yeah, she was a puppy though. The mother had died, and you know they had basically game dogs taking care of them. Back then it was game dogs. That's what we had, pit bulls. They were pit bulls. And yeah, she took my son's heart, and then she was ours. That's it. So. No,
now is she a dog that's approachable? I'm gonna let him.
No,
because I want to just kind of get the idea across that this is such an unusual thing because is Layla approachable?
Not at all. Not approachable at all. You can't get past my car or out of your car door without her letting know this whole house that somebody's there.
And I see you keep her on a very large chain over here.
Very large. It goes there, but there's she can't even get past this porch. Like, God forbid if I had a picnic, anything to that effect.
Do you describe her as aggressive?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's why she's always under our watch. I could never have given her to another rescuer. I wouldn't have felt comfortable,
So when you look out your window and see her on top of the guy, you're thinking...
I thought he killed her. I thought he killed somebody. I thought a kid wandered in, or because I couldn't tell how big the body was. I instantly I was terrified. I was like, oh my God, how did I not hear this?
How did Layla get on? Yeah, Layla. Yeah. It turns out Layla's the victim.
Mm-hmm.
In all of this, what's to be taken away from this? Because the reason you were responsible, you had your ammo away from your gun, you did not shoot him, and you know that's
we need help for this mental population. Me as a person, I can pop it out of almost a crowd and see, you know, where the need is. We need help. Our state, our country needs help for these people.
What do you do?
Right now, I'm laid off.
But when you're for years, you've been doing what kind of mental health?
I was financial coordinator at my last job. I've done supervising management positions for ICF, you know, up, down, old, mental health, young, old, medical, ICF, you know, intense medical where they had no ability to communicate. And I also took a PMT class. I was an instructor for years that teaches you not to have a knee-jerk reaction. And a lot of that, I have to give Lee Lowry, I think his name was, big ups for that.
Because that class
I was a trainer for years. It did. I was able somehow to see that there was more of a need.
For your safety.
Yeah.
And I guess you would keep him at a distance.
Absolutely.
You knew there was a point at one point that he's going to...
Oh yeah. I honestly, the whole time, I thought there was a bomb or a gun and he was going to take it out waiting, you know, to just do this massacre.
Because he kept talking. He was talking. What did he say? That
ISIS ruled him to be here. That this was already predestined. He was excited that it was us together. I didn't even know him. And today was the day that he wasn't leaving until it was done.
So you're going to die together?
Yeah, we were going to die together. Me, him, my daughter, and my brother's girlfriend. Yeah.
Describe for me when he came in. What was he? Once he leaves Layla, is he coming at you? Is he running away? What's he doing?
I had myself right there in between the car and the picnic table, so
kind of had the picnic table.
I kind of had it as a blocking. As he made it up around, he did start to come to us, and that's when I started walking towards him, and I put the clip in the gun. He had seen I had the gun, he didn't have much of a reaction. He didn't seem to care that I had the gun. You know, and like I said, I kept it down. My hand wasn't, my finger wasn't on the trigger. I kept it down, and I just was trying to pray that the cops were going to get here. Because at that point, to me, he was a terrorist. He was one of the the ISIS people, and there was nothing I could do. It landed here. And I didn't know how we were going to tell the world or my family what really happened.
Because he was so...
Because he was so adamant that we were about to die, and all I kept thinking to myself was, Jesus, God, I don't even have my phone to hit record to let somebody know what really happened back here.
Mm-hmm. Now, he lives in the neighborhood, right? I mean, well, I'll first start over here. So you had to get to the car to get your ammo.
Yeah, my other car, yeah.
The black car. The black car was parked right there?
Mm-hmm.
So you had to make it all the way over there, get the ammo out, while keeping an eye on this guy.
Mm-hmm. Well, the only good thing is the car was backed around, and I was still in this thing, so the glove compartment was on my side when I opened it.
What were you thinking the whole time you had the gun in your hand?
Lord, don't let me shoot him. Let him stay where he is. I spoke to the Lord. I don't even think I saw anything or anybody else except for the immediate surroundings. You know, obviously I was making sure that the perimeter was okay and my neighbors didn't jump out, and you know, Lord, just please don't let me take somebody's life.
I don't know. So then you just fired it. Where did you fire the gun?
I fired the gun to the right, in front of the doghouse, in that little dirt hill.
It was just to the side of him?
He was over here.
Okay, so
it was
10 feet, 20 feet away.
At least 20 feet away.
Yeah.
Just to let him know I wasn't playing, I would shoot the gun, because I had it for, you know, quite a few minutes while he pranced and did his own thing, and I think at that point he was trying to see how far I was going to go.
And then you shoot the gun, and he doesn't take off.
He stood and he asked. He just put his arms out, and he said, I am the Antichrist.
Stark naked.
At that point, he had his... At one point, he had grabbed with his toes his underwear while he was prancing, and he had pulled them up on one side. So he did have one side up, and the other side was just, you know, he just was holding on to it. And then when he let go, they went down, and he pulled them back up as a police officer came.
Now, the police officer came, and he sees you with a gun. What did he tell you with your gun?
He didn't have time to tell me anything, because the immediate thing he was looking at was naked in the woods screaming obscenities and craziness. So, you know, the cop, I believe, said, hey, you know, come on down here, don't go nowhere. Very easy mouth, and all of a sudden it was a gazelle in the woods. He was gone.
Now, the most disturbing part, well, there's a lot of disturbing, but he lives 2 doors down, 3 doors down?
He lives
on the street?
Right behind Bunker Hill Pharmacy. He lives right there.
So, he's in your neighborhood. Have you ever met him before?
Not personally, no. I've never met him before. I did realize that I know some of his members of his family from years ago, and I actually cared for a family member, but otherwise, no, you know.
So you're still concerned for your safety, I'd imagine. I mean, he's in the hospital, he's locked up.
I'm concerned for mine and also theirs, because I don't believe he's being treated right for whatever it is. I just don't.
After all this, you're still concerned for his safety?
I don't want him to do it to anybody else either. Somebody else would have killed him, and he was only 22 when I found out. So, yeah.